Today, we're going to build a toolkit for structured thinking. We're talking about a system that can totally transform how you solve complex problems, getting you out of that chaos of uncertainty and into crystal clear clarity.
You've been there, right? We all have. You're just staring at some massive, tangled problem. Costs are creeping up, a project is behind schedule, and you get that sinking feeling, that overwhelming sense of being totally lost. You don't even know where to start.
Well, the answer isn't to just grind harder or work longer hours. Nope, it's about thinking differently. We're going to build a mental toolkit that helps you cut right through that fog and lead you directly to clear, actionable solutions. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with that feeling of drowning in complexity. Then we'll dive into 3 awesome tools: the MECE principle, logic trees, and the Pareto principle. And then we'll put it all together into one powerful problem-solving system. You see, at its heart, really powerful analytical thinking boils down to 2 things. First, you've got to structure all that messy information. And second, you have to prioritize what actually matters most. So, let's tackle that first part.
All right, let's get into our first tool. And this one, it's a simple rule, but it is incredibly powerful. It was developed at the consulting firm McKinsey, and it's called MECE. MECE, and you pronounce it MECE, stands for Mutually Exclusive, Collectively Exhaustive. So what on earth does that mean? In simple terms, it means every single piece of your problem fits neatly into one and only one category. And just as important, no pieces are left out.
Now, getting this right is absolutely fundamental. Why? I mean, think about it. If your categories overlap, you're going to end up doing the same work twice. That's a huge waste of time. And if you have gaps, well, gaps mean you could completely miss the real root cause of the problem, a fatal flaw in your whole analysis.
Let's make this super concrete. So, look at the bad slicing on the left. If you only look at man and machine as the cause of a problem, you've got huge gaps. What about the materials you're using or the methods? Now look at the right. Using the 4M's framework, man, machine, material, and method, it's perfectly MECE. There are no overlaps and there are no gaps. This right here, this is the foundation of a rock-solid analysis.
Okay, so we've got this awesome principle, MECE, but what do we actually do with it? Well, we use it to build our second tool, a visual map of the problem called a logic tree. And logic trees basically come in 2 main flavors. You've got the why tree, which is kind of like being a detective. You're digging into the past to find the root causes of a problem. And then you have the how tree. This is you being an architect, planning for the future by breaking a big goal down into the exact steps you need to take.
So let's actually build one together, right now. We'll start at the very top of our problem tree with a super common issue. Our total costs are going up. Why?
Now, using our MECE principle, what's the first logical step? We break total costs into 2 buckets that don't overlap but cover everything: fixed costs and variable costs. See? Simple, clean, and complete.
But this is where the magic happens. We don't stop there. We can go a level deeper. Let's take variable costs and break that down into its MECE components: raw material costs, outsourcing costs, and utility costs. And just like that, we have a clear map showing us exactly where we need to focus our investigation.
Now, these logic trees are amazing tools, but you've got to be careful. There are a few really common traps that can completely derail your analysis and send you running after the wrong answer.
I love this phrase they use in consulting, boiling the ocean. It perfectly describes what happens when your starting question is way too broad. Something like, how do we increase our profits? That leads to this impossibly complex tree that just goes everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So, to build a tree that actually works, you need to make sure of 4 things. First, it's got to be MECE. Second, the categories have to be meaningful. Don't break down your customers by left-handed versus right-handed. Third, your starting question has to be super specific. And finally, the end of each branch has to lead to something you can actually do, a concrete, testable action.
Okay, so we've used a logic tree to draw a map of our problem. That's great. But every good map needs a compass, right? We need something to tell us which direction to go to get the biggest bang for our buck. That compass is the Pareto principle.
I'm almost certain you've heard of this. It's the 80-20 rule. And it might sound like just another business cliche, but please do not brush this off. It is the absolute key to prioritizing effectively in any complex situation. So what is it really? It's a simple but kind of profound observation.
For most things in life, roughly 80% of the results you get come from just 20% of the effort or causes. This means a tiny handful of factors are responsible for the vast majority of your outcomes, both the good stuff and the bad stuff.
When you see it laid out visually like this, it just clicks, doesn't it? Your job as a problem solver or a leader isn't to fix everything. It's to learn to ignore the trivial many, that 80% of stuff that doesn't move the needle, and focus all of your energy and resources on that vital few 20%.
All right, let's put it all together. Let's bring these three powerful ideas, MECE, logic trees, and Pareto, into one cohesive system for thinking. A system that you can use on any problem you ever face.
And here it is. It's a simple, repeatable, three-step process. Step 1, you organize the chaos using MECE. Step 2, you map the entire problem visually with a logic tree. And Step 3, you prioritize with the Pareto principle, finding that critical 20% on your map that's going to deliver 80% of the solution.
So you see, this isn't just a random set of tools, it's a complete system. I want you to think of it like a high-performance radar. It lets you see right through the fog of complexity, helping you avoid the biggest icebergs and steer directly towards what truly, truly matters.
And that really is the big takeaway here. Don't just understand these tools. Go out and apply them. Use this framework on your own challenges. Because finding that vital 20%, that's where your effort is going to make the biggest, most meaningful difference. So the real question to ask yourself is, what's yours?